Hello again. Let's settle for the details now. You may pay more for loans going forward as Africa's biggest bank, Standard Bank, is projecting a further increase in the policy rates by December this year. Already, the central bank has increased its base lending rate to banks by 2.5 percentage points to 24.5% this month. Here's a Business Desk report.
Standard Bank is forecasting a further 2 to 3% increase in the policy rate by December this year. However, the central bank at an emergency meeting in the first week of this month increased the policy rate by 2.5%. This obviously pushed the lending rate from an average of 32% up. Africa's biggest bank said the Monetary Policy Committee would have to factor in elevated underlying inflation pressures and second-round impact of a weaker cedi. Again, the MPC sees a potential International Monetary Fund deal as the beginning to address fiscal challenges, thereby helping to anchor inflation expectations. It, however, pointed out that inflation may ease from October to November this year, but will stay in double digits until at least August 2023.
Now, joining us with his perspective on this matter is Dr. Benjamin Amoah, who is the Executive Director, Center for Economics, Finance and Inequality Studies. Thank you so much, Doc, for your time here on Business Live. Now, on the back of the austere budget next year, how will the increase in the policy rate of the Bank of Ghana impact on businesses and households?
Thank you very much. Once the policy rate increases, then it becomes the signaling rate for the commercial banks to work with. And that will mean that the commercial banks will then also have to look at their cost of borrowing and then follow the signaling rate. But this will pass through the Ghana reference rate, which will then be used as more or less the starting point for the banks to build their interest on their loans by considering the individual riskiness of the borrower, in addition to the Ghana reference rate, to quote a rate on the loan. So once the monetary policy rate increases, automatically the cost of borrowing from banks will also increase.
But there are many companies that depend on loans, to cushion their businesses. So how do they go about it? Is this not going to affect them in any way?
It will. That is the difficult aspect of doing business with loans.
Yeah.
Because once the loan is an input factor which is used in your production, once you go and source the loan and the loan is contracted at a high interest rate, then if the manufacturer or the producer has no other way of absorbing the increase in the loan price, then ultimately the producer or the manufacturer will have no option than to pass on the cost of the loan through the pricing of his or her product or services for the customer to bear. And that is what we are seeing happening now.
Finally, before I let you go, there are calls for the finance minister to be sacked. Where do you stand on this?
That's an interesting call. The issue is, what has he done to merit staying in office or being asked for him to step aside? The issues coming up is mostly because, one, we celebrated him when results were going in his favor, and then now if it is coming up that the results are not too good, then just as we celebrated his good results, one will also have to hold him responsible for the poor turnout we are facing now. And so the call may be justified from the point that the results we are experiencing now is not good. And once we have celebrated his good side, of course, we can't also exonerate him when we are feeling the pinch. And so if the call is for him to step aside, it is up to the appointing authority, the president, to look at the issues and to take the decision that will favor the country first, and then his political party, the MPP. That is what is most important, the country first, and then the political party.
Thank you so much, Dr. Benjamin Amoah. He's the Executive Director, Center for Economics, Finance and Inequality Studies. Now, away from that, the Bank of Ghana has revoked the license of Airport City Forex Bureau within the Atlantic Tower building and Trade House Forex Bureau at the Marina Mall, all here in Accra. The operators, according to the central bank, had breached foreign exchange laws and failed to issue receipts. The Bank of Ghana is taking this action amid the city's worsening performance against major trading currencies, which is partly driven by illegal forex trading. According to head of other financial institutions supervision department, Yao Sapo, the exercise is expected to continue across the country.
Are under the same ownership. The distress action comes after a few weeks of cautioning them to desist from not issuing receipts to customers and going against other rules and regulations of the foreign exchange laws. Mr. Sapon stated that their operations is inimical to the Forex Bureau scheme in the country.
The two bureaus on several occasions have been found not to be complying. And the way they operate, the way they set their prices, their pricing is detrimental, and we think that the licenses of the two bureaus have to be revoked. For anybody to be issued license by Bank of Ghana, that person has to be fit and proper. So in our assessment, because of the way these two bureaus have operated over time, it will be very difficult for the shareholders of this bureau to qualify.
He further maintained that other black market activities is injurious to the Ghanaian economy, hence the central bank will continue with its exercise to clamp down on their activities.
So we are confronting the issues from all angles. Now there are licensed forex bureaus which are not operating according to the law. So for licensed institutions, be it banks or forex bureau, which are not complying with the rules, the Bank of Ghana will deal with them. In addition, we are going after the black market as well. And as you are aware, recently we did a swoop, and several swoops have been planned. So I want to use this opportunity to sound a warning to those who are engaged in the illegal business. It is an offense to buy or sell foreign currency in this country without a license. So I want the general public to know, if you need foreign exchange, you must go to a licensed forex bureau or a bank for your foreign exchange needs. You cannot go to the black market. The person standing by the roadside is engaged in illegality. And if you patronize their services, you're also engaged in illegality.
The move is to save the free fall of the Ghanaian cedi. James Ishen's report for Joy Business.
Now, Head of Economic Regulation at the National Petroleum Authority, Ibrahim Abbas Tasunti, has described calls for the removal of the Price Stabilization and Recovery Levy as not realistic. Fuel prices are going up amid economic challenges. But speaking to Joy Business at a stakeholder forum to share recommendations of the Price Deregulation Policy Review Committee, he said more work needs to be done before calling for the removal.
The Stakeholders Forum was to share recommendation of the Price Deregulation Policy Review Committee. Speaking on the current issue affecting the sector, Abbas Tasunti explained the need not to call for the removal of the levy, indicating that it's wrong timing due to the current free fall of the cedi.
Any such intervention to remove the price stabilization and recovery levy is made based on the current numbers, based on how much is in the account for it to be used to do so. You are very much aware that the price stabilization and recovery levy, like I said, is not only used as an intervention tool for consumers, but also is used to pay for the subsidies that we still have on premise fuel and residual fuel oil. You would all agree with me that the cost of fuel has gone up mainly due to the exchange rate in particular. The same way the subsidy on premise fuel and residual fuel has also risen because of this same depreciation. So as we speak now, the levy as it is not even enough to pay for the subsidies that are accruing on these two products. I'm sure you heard the BDC's complaint that the subsidies to them have not been paid since April, and it is because of these challenges. So calling for the removal of this subsidy, which already is not enough, calling for the removal of this levy, which already is not enough to pay for the existing subsidies, is not realistic in our point of view, and that's why we cannot call for a reduction or removal of the levy at this point in time.
He maintained that prices of petroleum products in the next pricing window is not expected to go down.
Unfortunately, the world market price for diesel in particular has risen significantly. There's some kind of stability in the world market price of petrol for the next window. But the major exposure we are faced with now is not these two indicators, but the exchange rate. With the rate of depreciation of the exchange rate, it is very, very much expected that in the next window, prices will rise. I'm sure, like your colleague said, you've seen that prices are already changing even before the next window. And therefore, we do not expect that with the rise in diesel price on the world market and the serious depreciation of the Ghana cedi as we are seeing, there will be any reduction at the pumps in the next window. So from the price indicators MP has published and the exchange rate you've seen, you will see that it is expected that the next window prices will rise. But because the market is deregulated, as we always say, we'll see how the market, the BDCs, the OMCs respond to the price changes. And then as a regulator, make sure that even though the prices are changing, they are doing so in line with the price, the petroleum pricing formula.
The process to deregulate the pricing of petroleum products had been evolving from 2005, when the NPA was set up, until June 15, 2015, when complete deregulation was achieved.
To some other stories, Chief Executive of McDan Group of Companies, Dr. Daniel Macaulay, has admonished businesses to apply common sense amid the current economic uncertainties the world is currently faced with. According to him, Africa still presents a favorable environment for doing business, even in uncertain times. He spoke at the 6th edition of the UPSA ACCA Africa Trade Roundtable, themed Infrastructure, Supply Chain Systems, and the After. According to Dr. Daniel Macaulay, businesses have to be innovative in order to overcome the global economic turbulence. He believes the country's industrial sector has a lot of potential for growth.
For me, every business should know that the world is changing. We shouldn't joke with this crisis. It's a worldwide crisis. And if you go on the internet, you realize that people are even suffering more than us. I can say we are a bit privileged to be in Africa because we can create more than they can create over there. So business should look at the environment in Africa, or especially in Ghana, to apply a lot of common sense to see how to take advantage of what is coming to us.
Speaking on the theme, the McDan Group CEO admonished businesses to be strategic in trading under the African Continental Free Trade Agreement. He says businesses ought to study the terrain of the African market in order to compete favorably.
30 years now, and I can tell you, I'm one of the few who understand the terrain. I'm one of the few who can move by road, by sea, by air throughout the whole African continent. So infrastructure, I see it from different angles. When we talk about infrastructure in the African continent, we can't say we have enough, we cannot say we don't have at all.
The UPSA African Trade Roundtable brings together intra-African trade experts, government officials, policymakers, among others, from across the world to discuss pertinent issues arising out of the AFTA implementation. You're still watching Business Live here on the Joy News channel with me, Beverly Broohm. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back with more. Do stay with us. Thanks for staying with us here on Business Live. Now, the Pan-African Business Developers, a development management organization in collaboration with the Ghana Commercial Bank, has trained about 100 traders at Kwabenya markets in business and financial management. Chairman of Bakuye Welfare Association at the market, Thomas Kublenu, described the training as timely to help traders build resilient businesses amid global economic challenges.
This training has benefited us a lot because our women, most of them before, they don't know how to keep records of their goods and also how to handle their finances. But with this training, it has given us the insight of how to keep records. When you are selling, you know how to go by everything. And it has also come at the right time because Ghana, as we are now, we all know that we are in a financial crisis. So this training has given us the idea how to go about our finances.
Now, Glovo, the on-demand multi-category platform, has announced its commitment to set new social rights standards and benefits available to couriers in Ghana through the Courier Pledge. The pledge, which will be fully implemented by the end of 2023, includes road safety initiatives, e-learning free platforms, access with hundreds of courses, increased insurance coverage, and fair earnings, among other benefits. There's more in the following report.
Pledge created with advice from the Fair Work recognizes that the gig economy represents a significant source of income for couriers and wants to provide equality of access to social rights and benefits for couriers independent of the way couriers work with the platform. Here's General Manager for Glovo Ghana, Berlin Budu.
It entails actually having a number of different opportunities. So first of all, we talk about fair earnings, where we want to make sure that all the couriers that are collaborating with us are actually making a livable wage. We also provide insurance benefits. So currently we are able to actually cover any courier that's collaborating with us that has an accident. We cover their hospital fees, and in the unfortunate event of a death, we actually compensate the next of kin and family members for that. Additionally, we also have we are going to be introducing sick pay. In addition, we also talked today about funeral support. These measures are part of our social impact initiatives that we do. So as a company, we're not just looking to make a profit, but we're actually looking to have a positive impact on the environment and also on the people that we work with. So when it comes to building up the economy, we are actually looking for ways to support the riders that we work with and also the partners, the restaurants that we are working with. So this is one of the first that we are doing. This is for the couriers. We also have other initiatives coming up for the restaurants and for the partners, the businesses that work with us.
Ghana will be the 9th country and the 3rd in Africa to start enjoying these benefits. Head of Finance at the Ministry of Information, Patricia Sampson, stepping in for the Sector Minister, Kojo Ponkruma, urged the couriers to always prioritize customers in their line of work as they will be enjoying some benefits compared to other platforms.
I see many young men. So this is to you as riders. Please have a clear understanding of the job. This is a job of service. You have to treat everyone with great sense of respect, diligence, and decorum. Integrity and professionalism should be your watchwords. Have utmost fidelity to the laws of Ghana and operate as carefully as you can.
Spanish ambassador to Ghana, Javier Gutierrez, lauded the initiative and reiterated Spain's commitment to building a lasting trade relations.
This is a good example of the commitment that the Spanish companies have in Ghana and with providing better conditions for workers. I have been a witness of the rapid progress made by Glovo in Ghana since it started its operations here in Ghana in March 2021. I have also been a witness of the determination to generate a positive social impact in the Ghanaian society and also the determination to cooperate with the public sector and the Ghanaian government. For instance, Glovo puts a strong emphasis on creating jobs for the youth, on facilitating access to technology, as well as digitalization, and on social projects.
The riders also received safety training from the National Road Safety Authority.
Now, as part of moves to help cushion workers against current economic challenges, Access Bank Ghana says it will continue to bring out innovative products to support Ghanaians. The bank today launched its triple salary promo. Speaking to journalists after the launch, the Executive Director for Retail and Digital Banking at Access Bank, Pearl Nkrumah, said there is the need to help workers struggling at the present economic condition.
In Ghana now, you either have someone working for, either you work for yourself or you work for someone. And as a salaried worker, we all know that there's always that need. There's a bridge financing need that you require. Now prices are high, other things are quite expensive. So this was just to give, like I said, a relief to salaried workers to say, if you want to buy something, you just don't wait till your salary is paid. Use this opportunity, buy ahead, and then enjoy interest-free for 1 year.
And it's a wrap from us here on Business Live with me, Beverly Broohm. For more news, you can log on to myjoyonline.com/business. Enjoy the rest of our programs.